quick show of hands for those of you who enjoy traveling? Perfect. And now can I also get a quick show of hands for those of you who have an income bracket that requires some sort of budgeting? Great. As I thought, most of you enjoy traveling and have to budget for most things. So regardless of how you answered these questions though, you're going to have to most likely travel at some point in your life, even if you enjoy it or not, whether it be for a family reunion, work, or because someone else wants you to go on a vacation somewhere. And also, most of us have to budget. Even those that have money usually budget if they want to keep their money. And with that said, it is probably important that you know how to budget while you're traveling. I've personally done a decent amount of traveling over the years. I've had to learn how to do this. I haven't always been successful at budgeting, but it is definitely a learning process, and there's a few tips that I'd like to tell you about today of how being travel savvy takes knowing a few things, and so I'd like to inform you on the hows and whys to strive for this while you are traveling. So I will be covering how to save money when getting to your destination, the ways to cut costs when you are at your destination, and the overall benefits of traveling on a budget. So let's start with what must be planned first when going anywhere. This is how to get to your destination. There are sites that give you fluctuations in flight and gas prices. So Skyscanner is one that I really like to use and have used it. I don't always book through here, but it is great to look at different, if you don't know the exact day that you want to fly, you can look at the whole month and find out which day is cheapest to leave and come back. You can also get notifications, which is great. They'll send you notifications when the price goes up or down in the flights. If you're booking in advance, this is cool to do. And then also, they have this interactive map if you're just wanting to take a spontaneous trip. And you can look at airports around us too, if that's cheaper to fly out of, and what may be cheaper to fly into in a different state or country, what airport's best to fly into there. I know that flying out of Seattle, if you're going abroad, is a lot better to do often. I'm looking to go to Thailand here actually soon, and it's about $500 cheaper to fly out of Seattle, which driving over there is going to be less money to actually do. Adioso, I haven't used this site exactly, but I have looked at it, and it does have a really nice layout. The prices do seem to be a little higher, so you may not want to book through here, but they do have some good options to use. Finally, if you're doing a road trip, which this is honestly the best method to use if you are traveling on the same continent usually, and this site, you can plan out your gas in advance, or like where gas stations you're going to stop at in advance and see which ones are cheapest. Or like what I do when I pull into a city, I'll just pull up the thing and see what gas station is cheapest around me instead of just pulling into the first one I see there. There are also certain days of the week and seasons that are ideal for buying airplane tickets. So like obviously over Christmas time it's going to be more expensive to buy an airplane ticket. Also during the week there are certain days that are more expensive. Sunday and Saturday, if you're booking 21 days in advance, you don't want to do this. Tuesday has been known to be the best day to buy tickets unless you're booking less than 21 days before, and then Sunday's the best. But Monday through Friday, those are pretty consistent days to buy, and you'll be best doing that usually. And then this was compiled by Expedia and the Airline Reporting Corporation. Also, signing up for credit cards that give you airline miles can potentially get you free flights, and it's a really great option if you are okay with using a credit card. Chase Sapphire Preferred has been one of the top rated ones. It was named Best Credit Card for Flexible Travel Redemption by Kiplinger's Personal Finance in July 2016. You get 50,000 bonus points when you sign on for this, when you spend 44,000 on purchases in 3 months. So that's quite a few miles right there. Yeah, if you don't spend that much, it may not be the best card for you, but you do. And there is also a $95 fee on this card, so that can be a bit of a struggle for some people, but you do get 1 point for every dollar spent, or 2 points when you're traveling for every dollar spent. The next one is the Bank of America Travel Reward Card. This one is probably best for those that are on a tighter budget because there's not an annual fee with it, and you also get 1.5 points for every dollar spent, and you get a $200 statement when you spend $1,000 in purchase in the first 90 days. So this one's a really great one. And then the next one, Southwest Rapids Premier Credit Card. You get 40,000 points when you sign on with $1,000 in purchases in 3 months. So most of us spend $1,000 in 3 months, so this is definitely a viable option. You get 6,000 bonus points after your card member anniversary, and you get $1 for every, or a point for every dollar spent, or 2 points for every dollar spent when you're traveling. These are just a few the U.S. News staff compiled together. They have some really good pros and cons to different cards on there, and it might be a good idea to go look at those if you're looking into getting a Air Mile credit card. So let's now move on to how to save money when you get to your location. One of the biggest things that you're going to have to look at for cutting costs is on food and beverages. This is going to be the most you're spending money on besides for the transportation to get there. And I know this to be true. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics actually compiled this from 2005 to 2011. And yeah, average food and beverages has consistently been higher. This is an older report, but yeah, I know this to be true. And it's even more than lodging. So just be conscious of this, and don't always eat out every night. You can buy food from a grocery store when you're traveling. I've done this. Yeah, go out, have fun sometimes, and do splurge. But just look at the places you're going to and make sure that they're not always the 5-star restaurant if you're traveling on a budget. Next, lodging. Yeah, this is going to also be a big chunk of what you're spending. And there's some affordable options out there, some really good ones, potentially where you don't even have to pay anything. Couch surfing is one of those. This is where you stay at someone's house for free. Often you'll bring them a gift or take them out to dinner, but you should never have to pay. And you might be a little skeptical of this, but according to Normatic Matt, there's just a few things that you have to look at when you're doing this. And this guy, he travels around professionally and gives people advice on how to travel. So he definitely has some experience with it. And he says that you should look at their profiles and make sure they're completely filled out. Make sure that they have a profile picture, that they're verified, and that they have lots of reviews. Next, hostels. These are a lot of fun, and they're very inexpensive also. And they often have bars in them, and there's just a lot of younger people there, even older people. You'll run into all different age groups and really get to interact with some different people and find some cool things to do. Home exchange. This may not be something you're doing immediately. Right now, it's for those that own a house, but if you can take your house and switch it with someone else's and live where they live for a little while, and they'll live with you where you live for a while. So this is, might be the viable option down the road. And then short-term rentals. Airbnb is a really cool site that I've used before. This is also staying in people's homes. It's not free, but it's not just staying on their couch. You have your own room, usually in a bathroom, and you can even rent out their whole house if they're not living there at the time or something, and it's cheaper than getting a hotel, and it's usually pretty comfortable. And again, make sure that they have reviews on their page and everything too with that. Another way to save money when buying gifts for people, make sure you're not going to the market, just the mainstream market tourist shops. I've done this in the past where I'm last minute trying to find gifts for people, and I run into these places and I end up spending a lot more than I like. So just try to find gifts for people along the way. Planning is ultimately your best friend when it comes to traveling. If you're trying to stay on a budget, it can be a little bit difficult, but it doesn't mean you can't be spontaneous at all, by no means. It just means that you're a little more aware. Finally, let's talk about why you should travel on a budget. There's a lot of benefits, I believe, to traveling on a budget, actually. One of those is you get a less of a tourist experience. It makes your travels more unique and exciting, I feel like. And like with the hostels, you get to meet more people, and you'll often get to meet more locals when you're traveling on a budget, and they'll tell you where good places are to go. Traveling, in my experience, is not about the materialism stuff. It's about the experiences that you'll make while going, and often these experiences don't require a lot of money. You get to feel a sense of accomplishment when you save money. I mean, I always do when I end up saving money on something. Even me buying a shirt, I get pretty excited about it. And when you're traveling, even saving that quite a bit of money, it's pretty exciting. And then cutting traveling costs also lowers financial stress in the future and allows you to travel more if that's something that you enjoy to do. So let's wrap up. Yeah, there is a multitude of ways to save money when traveling, and often you have to pick and choose what you're going to do and what works best for you and your budget and your lifestyle. Being travel savvy definitely takes knowing a few things and doing a few things. And so today I've covered a few of those whys and hows that you can strive for this. These tips have included how to save money when getting to your destination, how to save money when you're at your destination, and what the overall benefits of traveling on a budget are. Yeah, being travel savvy definitely takes some time, but ultimately comes with the highest rewards. And I hope that you implement this into your traveling in the future, and I think you'll find it pretty rewarding. Thank you. And here's my works cited. Thanks.